Morning. And welcome to the beautiful new Brookland Middle School. Let's hear for everybody that had anything to do with getting this school here. I don't know if you knew this, Chancellor. I went to this school. Did you know that? I went to this school as a pre-K and kindergartner, and it looks very different now. It was open space, you might remember. So let me acknowledge all of our team who are here. Chancellor Kaya Henderson, Chancellor. I also want to recognize Brookland's new principal, Nora, is it Licknell? Alora, principal. Welcome. And we are very proud of the years of service that you have provided to DCPS. We know you were at Janie and Elliott Hine and now in the wonderful Brookland community. Let me also recognize Brenda Duan from Kelly Miller Middle School. So DCPS Parent Teacher Home Visit Program participant. I know we're going to hear a little bit about that as we move forward. And Jessica Rauch. Is Jessica here? There's Jessica. Jessica is very important in our public education approach in the district because she is the executive director of the DC Public Education Fund. And also Michael Ajamali. Michael, there you are. And we're going to hear a little bit, the Chancellor is going to describe a very important program for our middle schoolers having to do with Meeting Washington, and that's also a good thing. And then we have a student, Chase Jones. Let's welcome Chase. And she's a representative of everything good about public education in the District of Columbia. So you'll hear from her in just a second. And also let me acknowledge the Deputy Mayor for Education, Jenny Niles, who is here. And Stephanie Evans. Is Stephanie here? From our athletic department. We're also going to talk about athletics because that is a tremendously important part about how children develop, and especially in the middle grades. And so everybody should know by now I like to talk about middle school. Right, Chancellor? And so does the Chancellor of Schools. And middle school is, as we all know, is a very critical time for young people. They're exploring the challenges of adulthood. They're thinking about college and career. And it's the time in their life when they start making important decisions that can change the trajectory of their lives. And I have always recognized that a real commitment to middle schools is not only important for these young people and their families, but is also very important for the trajectory of our city. We have in the last several decades really turned the tides in DC in a lot of ways for attracting and keeping families. And a lot of that success is because people have a growing confidence in our schools, and we should all be very proud of that. We have seen impressive growth also in our middle grades. Our middle schoolers, specifically 7th and 8th graders, have shown the greatest achievement gains since 2007. I bet you didn't know that. And in fact, from 2007 to now, proficiency rates in math have more than doubled for 7th and 8th grade students. And in the last 4 years, our middle schoolers have beaten elementary and high school students in reading gains. But we cannot rest. We have to do more, and we have to tell more people about that success in picking up the pace for middle school reform. If we expect our students to succeed in high school, college, and careers, they have to get ready in these middle grades. And that's why we are, with the Chancellor, who has had a focus on this, and in the last several years, has made that commitment also in the budget. So you know the Mayor and the Chancellor expressed their priorities through the budget. And so we are going to be able to present a budget next week that lives up to that commitment to the middle grades as well. So we're here in the beautiful Brookland School, and let me acknowledge Councilmember Kenyon McDuffie and his staff who are here. There's his Chief of Staff, Jeanette Mobley. And I know that the middle grades have been a focus for Ward 5 for a number of years, and the advocacy of the Ward 5 Education Council has been important to that. And Faith, are you still in charge of leading that discussion with the Ward 5 Education Council? Hey, let's acknowledge Faith Hubbard for her leadership in doing exactly that. And let's also remember that we have a lot of work to do as it relates to middle schools. And so part of my discussion with the Chancellor for this first part of our administration, this first year and the next year, is to look at how we're going to advance the ball for all of our schools. So I expect sometime real soon we're going to be standing in front of McFarland talking about the next middle school success. But let me now turn the podium over to our Chancellor of Schools, Kaya Henderson.
I want to thank Mayor Bowser for her tremendous support. As you know, I share a passion for improving the middle grades experience because I was a middle school teacher. I taught 6th, 7th, and 8th grade Spanish. And lots of people think middle schoolers are a little funky. Right, Mr. Zaki? But they don't understand, right? They don't understand. I have a special love for them. They're caught somewhere between being a child and being an adult, and it takes a very special brand of people to be able to help shepherd them through. And so I have a special place in my heart for middle schoolers and for middle school educators. I'm really appreciative to the mayor for expressing her commitment to not just education, but to middle grades education in this budget. This is a tough year for the city, and yet and still she's maintained education as a priority. Lots of our sister agencies have taken cuts. In fact, we'll take big cuts at our central office, all to ensure that our schools are getting the very best that they possibly can. We are making sure that in all 8 wards, all of our young people are getting closer to the world-class education that they deserve. The investments that we're making in the middle grades have values that are reflected in the results that she shared with you. A lot of people don't know that our middle grades are our fastest improving grades in the district, and we need to share that with more people. We know that families leave the district public schools after middle grades, but we are using the investments, the funds that the mayor has given us to make sure that families see our middle schools programs as strong as they see our elementary school programs, and that, in fact, ultimately they see our high school programs that way, and they can rely on a consistent trajectory of academic excellence across DCPS. Now, we're not there yet, but we're making the investments where parents will be able to rely on us in that way. We want to make sure that parents feel comfortable and excited to send their children to every single one of our middle grades programs, not just a select few. And the improvements that we're making in our middle grades will ensure that for years to come. We're building on our previous successes by ensuring that the money that the mayor has given us will continue to allow us to offer a full year of algebra in all of our middle grades programs, foreign language, and here at Brooklyn there'll be multiple foreign languages, art, music, physical education, along with expanded opportunities for field trips and extracurricular activities. If you understand anything about middle grades developmentally, middle grades are the age of exploration. That's the time when we need to be showing our young people lots of different career opportunities. It's when we should be showing our young people lots of college opportunities. We can't wait till high school to start that. We need to start that in the middle grades, and those are the investments that we're making. There are also, as the mayor mentioned, a lot of things that people don't recognize or realize about our middle schools. Did you know that many of our middle grade students take trips, not just local trips, but they go to New York and Philadelphia, they go to Costa Rica and lots of other places. Right now, only some of our middle grade students do that, but we actually believe all of our middle grade students should do that. Did you know that at Hardy, middle grade students can take a cooking class after school? or that at Burroughs down the street, which is a K-8, which it won't be a K-8 next year because those young people will be coming here. They have a robotics program for their middle grade students. There's a whole lot of amazing things happening across our middle grades, but we do, as the mayor said, have a lot left to do. Let me introduce you to a couple of the people who are going to help us expand on some of our middle grade opportunities. First, from the classroom, we have Brenda Doyen, a teacher at Kelly Miller Middle School, and she's involved in our home visit program that fosters a bond in the middle grades between families and teachers through home visits. She's going to talk about that. In fact, this spring, teachers will begin training so they can start the new school year with new mindsets and skills to partner with the families that they serve. This year, we had the home visit program in 2 middle schools. Next year, we'll add an additional 2 middle schools, but we're actually out fundraising to see if we can penetrate all of our middle schools through the home visit program. You'll also hear from Kelly Miller's 6th grader, Chase Jones. And I just have to shout out, before I get to Chase, I want to ask Zaki Miller, Principal Abdullah Zaki, Kelly Miller. I do it all the time. To stand. Principal Zaki is the principal of Kelly Miller. He is the DCPS Principal of the Year for the amazing gains that he's made in the middle grades program. People, sleep on what happens in middle schools, but Kelly Miller is the fastest improving middle school in the district. And if you haven't been there lately, you should go check out what's going on. And so we have Chase Jones from Kelly Miller Middle School. And Chase is one of about 100 students who participated in the summer school-wide enrichment model that we launched last year at Kelly Miller and Jefferson Middle Schools. This is a program that we offer during the school year at 10 schools, and it gives students a chance to participate in 4 weeks of project-based learning and at least 4 related field trips that are tied to students' areas of personal academic passion. It's as important to develop students' passions and talents as it is to develop their test scores, and so we're putting our money where our mouth is on that. Many of the exciting programs that we offer for our middle school students, such as DC Meets Washington, which you'll also hear about from Michael Ajamale, wouldn't be possible without the support of dedicated community partners like the DC Public Education Fund. Jessica Rauch, the board, and our entire team, we go out and we shake down the trees because as much money as the mayor gives us, we always need more if we're going to do more. And so we have lots of folks who've committed to providing private dollars that support the work that we do. And finally, I'm really, really pleased and proud to introduce Nora Licknell, who is Brookland Middle School's new principal. I just have to tell this story about Nora because this is something that you should know. And so Nora had been at Elliott Hine, and she came to interview for a principalship. And we were talking, and she said, well, I want to go to a school like Elliott Hine. I'm really concerned with, students who are struggling the most. I feel like that's my calling. I feel like I've been able to reach them. And I said, well, that's great, but I need a 3rd panelist for Janney. Can you just go fill out the panel for me because I don't have enough candidates? And she said, yeah, sure. And so she went to panel at Janney, and she came back and she said, I have to go be the principal at Janney. And I was like, I'm sorry, no, like you're going to the struggling school, right? And she was like, the thing is, there are struggling kids at Janney that nobody is paying attention to. The achievement gap is a mile wide, and nobody is concerned about the struggling students at Janney, and I want to go take care of that. And I mean, golly, right? Don't you want every principal to be concerned about every student in the school building? That is the Nora Licknell who will lead this building and will be responsible and ensure that every single student at Brookland Middle School has the very best. She built an arts integration program at Janney that leveraged community partnerships and significantly expanded arts programming to include performing arts and graphic arts and vocal and instrumental music for all students. And that's why we thought she'd be a great fit. I'm really pleased that members of the community also thought that. Please welcome with me Nora Licknell.
Thank you, Chancellor Henderson, and welcome all of you to the beautiful new Brookland Middle School. I am thrilled to have you all as some of our very, very first visitors in this building. The state-of-the-art building, you are sitting in it now, is the product of the important collaboration between our city, DC Public Schools, and our Ward 5 community. It boasts classrooms encased by bright windows and light, a variety of performance spaces. Right now you are in a dance studio, so you can see the acoustic panels on the wall, the narrow wood floors so that our students have that open space. You can see places for gathering and connection, and it promises a future steeped in potential for all of our middle school students. As we prepare to open our doors in the coming school year, we will invite these students to learn, explore, play, and challenge themselves. This is a school where our expert faculty will aim to know and understand our students, directed by the values of respect, choice, curiosity, collaboration, and of course, community. We will offer an incredible range of arts and language courses, integrating the engagement and critical thinking these pathways encourage across all subjects as a way of growing our most important resources for the future of our city, our students. I am thrilled that we are poised to provide our neighborhood students with all of these rigorous opportunities. As a longtime DCPS teacher and principal, I'm even more excited that this school building is a symbol of the long-term commitment that Mayor Bowser has made to improving middle grade instruction. I have witnessed the foundation of this commitment over the last 7 years, and I can't wait to serve and be part of the promising path forward under Mayor Bowser and Chancellor Henderson's leadership. For our families, a reminder that enrollment opens on April 1st, so mark your calendars now. And as a citizen of the District of Columbia and a member of its passionate educational force, I am grateful for the progress we have made and the evolution still to come.
Lynn was the type of student who never stopped talking. If you were wondering where the whispering was coming from, just look in Lynn's direction. But this was not as impressive as her uncanny ability to explain her innocence, with such masterful excuses like, I was talking to myself, or I was just exercising my mouth. She would always leave us wondering what strategies were left to change her talkative behavior. It wasn't until I had the opportunity to visit her home that it all made sense. You see, Lynn was responsible for raising herself. Her mom contracted Lyme disease, and her sister had cancer. My name is Brenda Duyan, and I have the pleasure of teaching at Kelly Miller Middle School. I teach 6th through 8th grade math and Algebra 1 in a unique program called the Academy. I also serve as the math department chair, and this is my first year in DCPS. This is my 6th year as a teacher overall, and I'm so honored to be able to come here and speak to you about my experiences, much like the ones with Lynn, with home visits, and how it really changed my life as an educator. So this school year, I've had the opportunity to participate in DCPS's parent-teacher home visit program through the Office of Family and Public Engagement. And it has really been the highlight of my teaching experience, not only at DCPS, just my teaching experience in general. With this program, I've visited over 70 parents. And had this program not been in place, I'm not sure that I would have been able to do this. Through my home visits, I get to better know my students and their families and show them how our relationships can help them become powerful advocates in their children's educations. My home visits, most importantly, helps me to gain insight to what my students may be facing, not only at home but in school, because a lot of our students come from disadvantaged backgrounds. And now I know what I need to do from my visits to help them be successful in a school setting. So through my home visits, I've been able to build really meaningful relationships with parents. I get a perspective of the whole child, not just the one that I see in the classroom. I've been able to have dinner with parents, and I'm greedy, but still, I still, it's really nice to be able to sit and eat with them and talk with them and really find out about their child's interests, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what are things that I can help them with. And just really help to mold that child and set next steps and goals. And for my high school students, I get to talk to them about the high school preparation process and all of the things that I feel like in the classroom sometimes we don't have an opportunity to do. And so they say that it takes a village to raise a child, and I truly feel like I'm a part of the village when I get to conduct these visits. The insight that I've gained from these visits have really, literally changed my life. And I know that it's changed those children's lives as well. When I think back to Jalen, I was able to figure out opportunities for her in my classroom to talk, but in a productive way, right? Through tutoring and things like that. But had I not been to her house, I would have just thought she was another child that just wanted to talk like every other middle schooler likes to do. So I think it matters to have this middle school program, not only for middle school students, but for teachers in DCPS. By showing up at students' doors, I and other teachers have the opportunity to really establish positive relationships with our students' families and really help take our students to the next level. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Michael, come on up and talk about Meet Washington.
That was exciting, actually. I hope I can follow up on that. My name is Michael Ajamale. I'm the president of Design Depiction Structural Engineering. I'm an architectural engineer by profession. Currently the project manager at the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History on the mall that's currently under construction. I was actually working there overnight, so I'm a little, still waking up. But I'm really excited about DC Meets Washington. This past summer, I had the pleasure and the privilege of participating in DC Meets Washington. And over the course of the week, I had the first-hand experience of engaging with the students at their school. I sat down with the students and shared with them insights into architecture and engineering and how my career path led up to this point. The students had insightful questions about architecture and engineering and what it involves and how does a building come together and things like that. They also asked questions about what does math and science have to do with it. And obviously, I shared things like, okay, it's important to, focus on your math and your sciences, even if you're not going to be involved in engineering, even if you're not going to be involved in architecture, because all of it is really towards your general development. And there were very interesting questions about, some students were curious about, okay, what's important of geometry and algebra and things like that. And when I started explaining to them how all that plays a part into, for instance, in my career, my profession, how I design a building, I could see the spark in their eyes, the sparks in their eyes. But one of the rather interesting questions that I was actually blown away by was a lot of kids were curious on, how much do you make? And yes, it's a lucrative career, but I'm not going to share that amount, by the way, right now. But they were really excited to know that it is a lucrative, a lucrative career to go into if they are interested. Then the second part, in that same week, the second part was their visit to the Smithsonian's museum's construction site last summer, which was obviously in the same week. I think it was the next day, as a matter of fact. And we brought them to the site, not actually onto the construction site, but onto what we call a welcome trailer, where the students got to see a model of the building. That was really, really empowering because they could see how a building's concept comes together before it's actually built, how it all starts in the mind of an individual. and how it goes onto pen and paper, and how the math and the science all come together in putting together this building. So they got to see a model of the building, of how it's going to be finished, the finished product will look like, before we took them to a deck where they saw the building under construction. So they saw all the like the symbolism to the building, the engineering and the parts and pieces to the structure of the building itself. And then I shared with them what I do on the construction site and how I interact with the design team, as well as the construction management team and the architectural team as well, and how everybody all coordinates in putting this building, together, and what they're going to eventually one day walk into. So it was really, really really exciting to see how they were captured and captivated by the whole experience. They were all, a lot of them were excited about, putting on the hard hats and going out onto the construction site, but we kept them obviously in a safe distance. And we also, actually, speaking of safety, we emphasize the importance of safety on a construction site and how that is very critical to how the progress on construction site goes. But with that said, it was a very, very exciting week for me. I'll be honest with you. I think I had as much fun as they did, or if not more fun than they did, especially with the questions about how much I made, which they kept on asking me about. But during that week, the students also got to visit Howard University's School of Engineering and one of the DC Public Schools' engineering career academies to learn about academic opportunities that were available to them. I learned that at the end of the week, one of the students was actually interested in being an engineer one day. And at the same time, there's another student who was not interested at all because they did not want to be out on the construction site, especially in the cold, But, I was equally pleased with both outcomes because, many times students develop career aspirations without really knowing what they entail. And that was a true indication of students knowing more about career paths and what is out there for them. So DC Meets Washington shows young students firsthand what career fields are really like, and shows them how they can prepare to succeed in their careers. I can tell you I would have really benefited from a program like DC Meets Washington as a young adult. And I'm so glad that even more DC public school students are going to benefit from DC Meets Washington this summer. And I'm really, really excited about being called back this summer again to DC Meets Washington. Mayor Bowser, Chancellor Henderson, I thank you for the leadership you bring in bringing the DC Meets Washington program to our city, and for showing our students the exciting and lucrative paths that lie ahead of them in our wonderful city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, that is a great story indeed. And the children are wonderfully observant. And it is important that they get to see real life people doing real life jobs, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because I always tell them every day is not peaches and cream. But when you have to pay the rent, you deal with every day that's not peaches and cream. And it's important that they understand that too. And what I actually love about this program is that we don't assume that our children get exposed to things like that. And that is part of school too. Exposing young people to the academic side of things, but then exposing them to the whole city. I like to tell this story. I grew up about 5 minutes from here, but I was an adult before I ever saw Reservoir Road in Ward 3. I was an adult, and that's not an uncommon experience. I was having lunch with a woman who was from the Palisades, who lived very close to that, and we were having this conversation. I told her, I was an adult before I ever was on the street a day in my life. I grew up here. And she says, Muriel, I was an adult before I ever went to Anacostia. And so this is an experience for many people in our city. So to expose children to every part of our city, every walk of life, is also the responsibility of a good public education. So now let's see a wonderful example of learning at one of our great middle schools. And let me introduce you to Chase Jones.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chase Jones, and I'm 11 years old. I attend Kelly Miller Middle School, and I'm in the 6th grade. I would just like to thank everyone here for the honor of speaking in front of you today. This is very exciting. Last summer, before I officially entered the 6th grade, I participated in the summer enrichment program. I was assigned to an art class because apparently I'm very creative. Everyone had to choose an art project to create for a final showcase. A group of students made a short film, and some created paintings. I made a sculpture collection titled Successful Women that represented women as doctors, teachers, lawyers, and of course mothers. We all experienced how to work together, research, share our opinions, and reflect on them. We all discovered our talents. It was a great learning experience that was very enjoyable, and I made lots of new friends, so I would highly recommend this to other students. Thank you again for taking the time to hear about my summer enrichment program experience.
Thank you, Chase. Well done. Well done. Let's commend Chase. Isn't she a wonderful public speaker? And let me ask the principal, do all the boys and girls have beautiful uniforms like Chase's? These are beautiful. Thank you, Chase. And let me now introduce our partner from the DC Public Education Fund, Jessica Rauch.
All right. Hard to follow you, Chase. The DC Public Education Fund is proud to partner with DC Public Schools to support our middle grade students. There are over 1,100 eighth graders in DCPS who are either enrolled in or have completed a world language course. Isn't that cool? In the following weeks, the DC Public Education Fund will announce a multi-million-dollar fundraising campaign to help ensure that eighth grade students in DCPS have as many opportunities as possible to connect with international perspectives and practice multiple languages, regardless of the school that they attend. Students who are exposed to multiple enrichment opportunities become complex thinkers and leaders, able to make cross-content connections and find interests that motivate them inside and outside the classroom. Over the next 3 years, our fundraising campaign will enable us to provide students with unique and applicable experiences to practice their world languages internationally and to have educational experiences that propel them toward exciting college coursework and careers in the global sector. Mayor Bowser, thank you so much for including us today, and we look forward to fundraising for all sorts of cool international trips.
Oh, great. That's good news. So once again, everybody, congratulations. And I see our partners here. Jackie Stanley is here from the Department of General Services. In the Department of General Services, builds our buildings. And I know that there was a lot of discussion about this building. The timeline, the material, all of that, and it was all worth it, wasn't it? Yes. And so now let's give the Department of General Services a big round of applause. And I know that there are members of the SIT team who are here from the community and from the school community who really made sure that the academic vision of the building met the community's expectations so that we can have a very high quality product that I'm looking forward to seeing. And I think the principal is going to offer us a tour. Yes? Oh, you did a tour? Of course, because I was late. But I'm going to do a quick tour now. Thank you, everybody.